Hello, everyone. Hi, Danielle.
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Welcome, everyone. This is our first class that is part of Square Off Month here at Sam's Bead Shop. So Square Off, you can tell there's a little bit of a challenge in there in the name of that. And that's because we are challenging Danielle and all of you and everyone here at the shop to use some cubes and squares and rectangles in their designs. I think we all tend to go for round beads, at least like when we're first getting started. I think those can feel, those feel safe. But like we want to help you get out of your comfort zones because cube beads and square beads are so cool. And so I sent you a little palette of those and you started designing. You want to show us what you made and kind of what your ideas were?
Yeah. So the first thing I thought was, wow, they're beautiful. They're so glamorous. The colors, you can really see color in a square stone in a way that you can't around. So it's kind of like getting a table cut. Very, very cool. And so I just wanted to wear it as a bracelet. And I combined it with check glass and seed beads. And it came out so beautiful. And this was just joyful stringing.
Yeah.
I had such a nice time just putting these together in just, a creative way.
It's so pretty. Oh, and I love the double stranded bracelet. It's so fun, so elegant.
I love double-stranded bracelets. And this one, it was perfect because the size of the cubes, you can layer in a way that makes the second strand kind of look really cool next to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And then what did you make to pair with it?
I made an earring so far, and I only made one. So one ear wonder at the moment. It's going to be really cool. We will solve that soon.
Sweet. So let me tell everyone about the beads that are in this design. Here we go. So this is my overhead here. So we have two types of box facet cubes that we're showing off today. I think these are about like 8 millimeters, 9 millimeters, somewhere around there. So these are the Amazonite ones, and they're just like that ocean of blue is just so cool. You were showing those off. And then we also have them in amethyst as well. And when we say a box facet cube, it's because it has a really unique type of faceting. You can kind of see that square that's on the side of each cube. Instead of it being like, I guess like the whole thing faceted, it's almost like they made each one a little box, a little present. It's really cool. Which one's your favorite, the Amazonite or the amethyst?
I think the Amazonite caught my eye first, but they are, I really have a hard time saying which is my favorite.
Yeah, I agree. And then I also sent you our mini cubes in a purple garnet, such a special stone. So it's an itty bitty bead in like the 2.2 millimeter size. And it has that great kind of fuchsia purple color. The faceting is sparkling, and I don't know, it's a unique bead. It's very similar in size to some of your small seed beads, but a totally different shape. So those are the cubes. And then those were the stars of this palette, but to go with it, I also sent you some 3 millimeter and 5 millimeter fire polish and a couple of colors with cool finishes, as well as 8.0, 11.0 seed beads, and then some daisy spacers that I can't, like the way you use them transformed them for me. I'm like, but I didn't even realize they were daisy spacers at first. So that's so cool. And then lastly, we have these magnetic clasps in 5 different plating options. And I think I sent you the antique pewter today. Yes. So yeah, these are all the goodies. These all launched today in the shop. So if you're watching this live or on the day of, you'll get the first chance to check out the link in the description and purchase any of these brand new beads. But even if you're watching this later on, check out the link and see what's available. So that's what we're using. Now, Danielle, take us through. Tell us how we get started.
Yeah. So would you like to start with the bracelet or the earrings first?
Yeah, let's do the bracelet. I think so. That's the star to me.
Yeah, this one was really fun. And yeah, it's just joyful stringing. It's super simple. So I started with pattern, and the pattern it's similar between the two strands. It also works beautifully if you can just replace the amethyst with from the Amazonite, and that is the exact same thing happening, but with the amethyst in it.
Yeah.
And I
It
thought that was
transforms
really,
it.
yeah, it transforms it. And so I'm going to show them side by side. I thought that was so cool.
Each have their own unique look. Yeah.
Yeah. And so
So-
what I was going to do is just go ahead and start stringing that pattern so that I can
Yeah.
introduce it. But we won't have to finish the whole thing. We can just kind of show each one together. So I'm going to just set this carefully to the side here because I don't have any bead stoppers.
Living dangerously.
I did.
I
I
do it.
sent them all because I send samples back and forth with Neela, and so I sent him all.
He has all your bead stoppers. That's so funny.
He sends them. We send them back and forth. I should just
love that.
be like, okay, maybe it's time to get a few more.
Yeah.
And so I discovered happily that medium works for even these little tiny guys. How crazy is that?
I know. I was surprised too. I started a little design that I'll show everyone later, and these mini cubes, they all worked with the medium soft flex. It was amazing.
Like I didn't even try it at first. You can see just on this one, I started with fine. But then when I realized it worked, I switched to this one. And because I like, whenever I can, I'd like to bring in a color.
Yeah.
So I'm actually using our red jasper from the one of the last projects we did.
Nice.
A little bit of recycling there. It kind of works. And let's see. I work from the spool. Are you also a spool from the spool?
That is, well, it's true. It depends. If I have to cut it off if I want to design from the middle. That's the one time like I have to cut it off.
Oh yes, same here. I'm just putting a bead board over here so I can pick up the small ones. Okay. And so the way that I started this pattern, it's super, super easy. Let's work with the cube one first because it's faster. You will also need the seed beads. And I used all 3 of these tubes. So I have an 8/0 seed bead, and then I have these 2 11/0s. We won't need those till we go to the second strand.
Okay.
But for the larger one, we'll go ahead and need one of these. Okay. And so I just started with an 8/0 seed bead. Super, super easy. And then I went right to one of the cubes. You'll need another 8/0. And from here, we need to go ahead and pick up some of these really beautiful little tinies. And because they're not going to roll away on me.
True.
Another bonus of the cubes. How awesome is that? And so far what we've done is a basic repeat of 8/0, cube 8/0, then baby cube. And then I did a bunch of these gorgeousnesses. So each of the little pops has 3. So you're just going to string 3. And sometimes I can actually pick them up like this way, but most of the time I have to kind of string them. But on the bead mat, you can kind of chase them around with the...
True.
And
when you stacked up those the daisy spacers, I like thought that was its own bead at first. I didn't realize those were 3 different beads.
Yeah, I remember you told me you thought it was bead woven, and you're like, "What did you do there?"
Yeah, I thought you made like herringbone. I was so confused. I was like, "Oh, those." I was like, "What did I send you?" I was like, "Oh, just daisy spacers," but like stacking them together, they look so cool. Beads flying.
I only lost one, and it's a cube, so I can find that later easily. When they're little, I get sad. I'm like, oh no. I can't decide what's worse, carpet or tile. Because downstairs for me is tile, and tile they roll away, and then I never find them. I find them with the craziest places like a month later.
Yeah.
Carpet, they just disappear in the carpet, so I don't know which one. So yeah, this is the whole pattern for the big one. So you just keep going like this. Let's see here. 3 of these.
A few more on. People can see it come together. And I think what a lot of people wonder is just like, I think it can be a little intimidating, especially with just a simple stringing piece to like figure out what order to put the beads in, what beads to use. So like, I guess the first tip I'll give is just to like make yourself a little palette. You probably have lots of beads to choose from, but what I did is, I mean, I chose 5, 6, 7 beads that I sent over to Danielle. So I already tried to like, you know, pick things that went together in a variety of sizes. So I think that's a good step one. But then Danielle, once you had this palette of beads, I mean, how did you figure out this pattern? How did you go about that?
Well, you did all the work for me when you put the collection together. So then I just got to say, what order do I like them in? The hard part for me is choosing the beads that go together. So when these combination right here, that's just perfect. I mean,
see, I feel like I have the easy job. I'm just like, well, yeah, these look pretty together, but I don't know how to put them together.
Oh, well, hey, well, then we're a perfect match because this was the hard part.
Did you just start stringing? Did you lay it out on a bead mat? What's your process?
A little of both, actually. So I think I do lay it out on the bead mat first and I get some kind of ideas, but no matter how I string it, I always end up changing it kind of a little bit after I've strung it.
Yeah.
I sometimes, oh, you know what? One weird thing I do is I work from the center. Yeah. If I have center. Now this one does not, it ended up not having a center point. But I do kind of, I'll have it on the spool and I'll work one side and then I'll cut it off the spool and finish the other side.
Got it. Yeah.
Often you have a focal or something I'm trying to do something with. So that's one way. So
in your design process, you're taking things on and off the strand. Like you're willing to string and restring until you're happy with it.
I mean, I always endeavor not to have to, but then I would say at least more than 75% of the time, I do take it apart. And it's, sometimes it's kind of sad because I'm like, oh, I love this section, but I want this to be different. So then that's another thing about working from the center is you can at least maybe cut it free from one side and get that side free.
Give yourself a little bit of time. Yeah.
No, I do. I'm not afraid to restring. Take it apart, restring it. That's the cool thing. At least you don't have to cut thread or do anything like that. I think also because seed beading is just such a commitment and takes so long that restringing something doesn't feel that bad to me. Like
it's simpler. Yeah.
So this actually goes really fast. I mean, it's super speedy. And it's not as hard as it seems to find those little holes in the cubes. I'm searching a little bit, but not too bad.
I think one thing that worked really well in this design is the way that you were able to balance the different sides of the beads. By putting those daisy spacers together, they become pretty similar in size to the large cubes. I mean, it's nice that they're a little smaller, but like it makes them bigger, and the way that those balance together, I think, is really unique.
Absolutely. Yeah. They are completely balanced when you put the little spacer in there. And the other trick for like working with a bead that's kind of a little off from the others size-wise is you can make it further away from the other bead. So move it a little further away. And if for some reason that just makes it work, like maybe even just string 5 little seed beads in between.
Yeah.
And you could do that with 12mm beads and it looks awesome.
Cool. Good to know. Okay. So when beads are bigger, you're more likely to like add more space between them.
Yeah. I think that's my go-to when I think about it. That is kind of what I do.
Intriguing.
I'm more likely to put them next to each other if they're the same size.
Cool. Okay. Well, do you want to show us the pattern for the second strand of the bracelet?
Yeah. This one I can finish up in a little while. I'm gonna put that one over there. I'm gonna have extras of these.
I know. They're great.
And so I used on this one, I switched to the 11-0. And I did use both colors because I felt like it really gave it something. Like this was a genius addition. I really love that color being added to it.
Yeah, it's called Metallic Nebula. It has a wild name.
Yeah, you had me at Nebula.
Yeah, it's because it's very outer spacey.
So awesome. And then of course this is a go-to right here. This bronze, like I pick up this color a lot. I mean, in just a lot of designs. And I think I was using it today in something else that it was perfect for too. It just ends up being the bead you need, I feel like. And so I've got all those little seed beads just kind of a little bit off camera here at the top, just hiding out up there. So they don't roll away. And on this one, I actually started with the fire polish. And so this is like a beautiful little amethyst one. Or it looks like it's color lined, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a light sapphire bead that has that light purple lining in it. So it's kind of a multicolor bead.
Oh, and I forgot one thing that I did. When I had the cubes on their original strands, they came with these little gold ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I started this strand with one.
Oh, huh.
It's I'm not sure why I did it. I think I just liked that.
Yeah, those are the spacers from the cube, the large box cube strand.
Yeah, and I've already unstranded mine, but they did have those little gold ones in there.
A little bonus bead.
So I always save those. I don't know about you, but I love them.
I know. Why not?
And so there's, let's see, let's go to 11-0. A little cube bead. Little tiny cubes. There we go. And the 11-0s. So this one's a little more dainty as far as the design goes. And it's a little more involved to string, but it's super worth it. Then there's these little fire polish. That one is what I did next. And at this point, what I was doing was color. So I was thinking, let's bring these pops of color in together because this is my accent strand. And it's just meant to highlight what's going on in the other one. So I just repeat out with 11-0. These little cubes go a long way. I've made 4 pieces of jewelry with these so far.
It's very true.
And so now I need another one of the beautiful fire polish beads. And that's pretty much the pattern there. I'm going to go to another set of this, another repeat of this one. Little 11-0s, just trying to run away there. Okay. Now I gotta grab one of these fire polish beads and then a blue one, the metallic nebula. Grab that one. And then I went again with 3 because I'm kind of matching what happened with the first one. This 1, 2, and 3. And another one of those. So this blue coming together like that, that looks really cool. I did really think that looked neat, the way that just pops.
Yeah.
And then I'm going a fire polish next. Whoop. A few more of these. I can see the little tiny edge that has the hole on the cube, but it's really small.
Mm-hmm.
And then we just need one of these. And from here, and so that's kind of what I did. It's I did 2 sections of each of those.
Yeah.
And I just made that kind of the pattern. So from here, I would just go ahead and add another fire polish. So that's kind of the repeating segment is to have a fire polish with an 11-0 and then the baby cube in 11-0.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the main one.
Nice. So with your strands, it seemed like you wanted one with larger beads and one with smaller beads. Is that right?
Yeah, I was going for more of like just an accent look.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't purposely try to line anything up, but it ended up happening anyway, just kind of serendipitously. But the way it wears when you're wearing it, they complement each other in position as well.
Yeah.
There was a little thought put into that. And I did take it apart when I realized there was too much lineup, but it's going to move around on you anyway, so you don't want to make that stop you from doing a design you love.
Yeah. Well, will you show us how to crimp it and put it all together?
Yeah. Yeah. And so this one, I'll just carry on with that one. And I do have one that's ready to go in our beautiful amethyst colorway.
And someone was asking us about what type of soft flex we're using. We're actually using medium soft flex for all of this today. These mini box facet cubes that are, I mean, they're only 2 millimeters, 2.5 millimeters in size, but these ones are not cut in India. The Indian cut gemstones are the ones that really have the smaller holes, and you often need that fine beading wire. But in this case, these ones are not cut in India. And so I think the holes are a little bigger, and even for such a small bead, this works.
I was very, very happy about that.
Yeah, I know. Medium is go-to. It just works great. Yeah.
And so I'm just going to get the clasp really quick. So here's the finished one. And I just had that out. So I used to.
How many inches is yours? How many inches is your bracelet with this amount of beads?
Let me take a double check on that one. I think I made it 7. That's usually my go-to. Especially, when you're going to do a design to show off a pattern and stuff. 7 seems to be the number that you get a symmetrical.
Yeah.
My little measurer. I just had that right here.
And would you, pull that to the center of your screen a little?
Yes.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay, this is great. This is helpful. So like if anyone needs to adjust this shorter or longer, you can just kind of pause the video here when you're watching the replay and just adjust to whatever size you need. Take out some beads, add some beads.
Yeah, and so it looks like my stringing was closer to 7 inches though.
Mm-hmm.
But by the time I put the clasp on, that said, I know that looks like it's 8 inches, but it does not wear like 8 inches.
Yeah.
Because of the cubes. And this actually that's a great question, and I didn't even think to mention. When I design bracelets, I sometimes test them on myself. And this one, I usually wear about a 6.5 bracelet. This one's working for me. And you saw that was like almost 8 inches. It's because the cubes take up some of the circle. I'm looking for the words, but they're not coming.
I mean, because they're like an 8-9 millimeter bead, they're adding some width, so you actually need it a little longer than you might normally. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they're adding width to it. So think about that. Maybe put on an extra 1/2 inch for you or so. And I love that it is a magnetic also.
Yeah. Yeah, we just restocked all of our tiara cast magnetic clasps today. They're ones that we bought from them a year ago, but before they shut down, and we finally got them up on the site for everyone.
Oh, I wonder what treasures you guys still have, because there are some things that I'm looking for.
Yeah, you'll have to let me know. I still have, I've got some packages from them.
Oh my goodness. I was just like, please don't close.
I know.
There was just no time, because by the time the news came, you couldn't really do lifetime buy because it was closing. Like, oh. Okay. And so let's see. I think that I did the small one first, but I don't know if it matters. Do you think it matters? I feel like it doesn't.
I wouldn't think so. I guess, I don't know if one would be easier or not, but
I'll repeat what I did, but I think it doesn't matter which one you put on first. I can't think of a reason why it does.
Yeah.
But I'm just using a good old 2x2 crimp. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to push this up just a little because I keep going off camera on you guys. So sorry about that. Okay. There we go. So yeah, just a 2x2. And for this side, I'm just going to put the clasp on. I'm going to slide that way down. And then I'm going to bring that back through. And I like to go through a bead. And so I think that's why I put the seed bead on there, at least for that one. Because I think the fire polish, it wasn't quite doing the things that I needed it to. And so I'm just going to tighten that up. I like to leave about a 4 millimeter loop. Go ahead and trim that. Whoop. It will stick to your tools.
That's true. It really is a magnet.
And so whenever I make a bracelet, especially if I'm working with the little tiny beads and stuff, I really do want to give it some air. And so the best way that I can figure out to not have my designs be too tight is I'll actually crimp them after putting it in this position. Just to kind of make sure that I don't crimp too tightly. I'll slide that down. I'm just going to bring this one through that seed bead again. I'm just trying to match what I did with the. There we go. And I think that size is that side's a little bit longer, so I'm going to pull a little more. That looks right. I think I like to go through a seed bead because it helps me crimp. It makes the wire stay on each side of my crimping tool. And there we go. And that even by itself is glamorous.
Oh, it's so sweet.
And so one way you could make it shorter, if you feel like that it needs to be shorter, you could always take out the last fire polish here. Because these repeats of 2, no one will notice if that one's not there. So there's one way.
Mm-hmm.
And so let's bring this other one on. I'm just going to go ahead and string my crimp on there. Bring through the clasp.
The loop on these magnetic clasps is a good size. Like, I feel like you could get 3, 4 wraps on your bracelet. You could make this a pretty fun, chunky bracelet if you wanted to.
Oh yeah. I love these clasps. They're perfect loop size on that. I think, what is that, like a 3 millimeter, do you think?
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, it's easy to add on several strands. And then I'm obsessed with the magnet clasp. Like, I just love not having to worry about putting it on and off. Like, I won't need help with it.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the same way. I'm more likely to wear my jewelry if I don't have to go through any hoops to wear it.
Yeah.
And without these magnetic clasps, I don't think I would have been able to be brave enough to make such an easy multi-strand. I would have needed to do the whole jump ring thing.
Yeah, it makes it simpler.
Yeah. So let's see. So I'm going to bring that down. And so I'm going to go ahead and put on my next crimp bead, which will give me the difference in height there. And the loop is next. And so this is one of the things I wanted to share when it comes to design is like when you're doing multi-strand, right before you do your crimp, lay it next to the other one and make sure that you've got a length that works for you. I think on my original, let me just show you really quick. See, I put 2 seed beads there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's something that I'm going to repeat here because I'm noticing that my height is not correct.
So is your goal to make both strands the same length or close to it?
So, I mean, they don't actually have to be.
Okay.
If they're really, really far off, you'll notice. But when you're wearing it, so let me show you on this one. See, these aren't exact either. They're pretty close because I did the extra seed bead right there.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not exact. But when you wear it,
it blends for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one thing you just want to double check is that it's not super off.
Yeah.
And then also keep in mind you're going to have a loop because sometimes you'll lay it out and you'll be like, oh, that's so far away from the other. But then don't forget you're about to make a loop with it, and a crimp is going to go on there. And that loop will add 4 millimeters. it's, you know, it's something that you just play with, and eventually you'll feel confident with it. I'm pretty brave with them now. I used to stress out a little more about it, but.
And like, I mean, everyone saw the photo of the finished piece in the thumbnail. I don't think anyone realized there was an extra seed bead there, but that's such a nice, like, simple thing to just get the lengths even and don't even worry about it.
Yeah, I know, right?
It
Now,
totally
one thing that might drive you crazy when you're wearing it, and just double check in case you care or not. If you have one on one side and one on the other, see how this one's that side and that side. You can match the side that it's going. Otherwise, they will hang overlapping each other. Does that make sense? Kind of.
If you do what?
So, for example, this side of the clasp, I have the small strand on this side, toward the top, and I have this one towards me. And it's the same on this one. See, top toward that way, towards me. If you were to reverse that, they would wear like this always.
Okay.
So if you care about that and you want it to be side by side, just position them side by side in the same way on both sides.
Nice.
But, you know, it actually doesn't matter that much too. You know, it looks beautiful either way.
Well, I hope folks are enjoying this bracelet because next up, we're going to learn how to make some matching earrings to go with it that also feature these cubes. So you'll be able to take the same beads and make a matching set. So that is what we'll be showing next in just a moment.
Yep, and you can use all your leftover pieces from the bracelet too, which I just realized I threw my last one away and I need to get that back. You reminded me. All right, and so there's my second one. Just going to hang those together. And there they are.
Yeah, people can go for the amethyst version, maybe make the Amazonite version, whichever one people want to do. Or we have other box facet cubes in the shop, so you can go whichever direction you feel like. So pretty. Oh, I'm so happy. Aren't they, you guys? Aren't these amazing? It's like, yes, it's just simple stringing, but like they're transformed. They're gorgeous.
They make
I
me
love
happy.
it. They're so nice.
Oh, I'm gonna wear this one right now. Why not?
Yes, you got to.
It doesn't take that long to put on.
No. All right. Now show us, how do we make some matching earrings with these?
Oh, right. So with the earrings, you can use little scraps of your beading wire that you have. So I'm actually just going to use, I cut too long of a strand with my last one, so I can just bring these on. And we're just going to string kind of the same patterns that we were doing before.
Yeah.
And each of these is just hung onto the ear wire like that.
It's almost like two different earrings. Yeah, just stacked on top of each other.
Yeah. And if you wanted to simplify it, you could absolutely just make one of those loops and have that be your earring too. And that's beautiful. This by itself was my original idea, was just to do that.
Yeah.
But then I felt like I needed extra, so.
I like that you added the extra.
It made me happy. I was like, oh, look at that. It's really cute. And they move around, so it's a fidget a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Bring the beads back really quick. Just need some of these. And so let's start with the small one first. I need one of my cubes for the center. So just like that. And then I did an 8 size 8/0 seed bead, sorry. So there's our 8/0. And then let's just get a few more of these out. We're a lot. There's one side. So pretty, even just like that. Look at that. If you would like minimalist jewelry, there it is right there.
True.
I have too many beads to be a minimalist, so.
You're like, no, I got to put them all on.
You need to put them on. Yes. And here's the 8/0 on that side. Oops.
I think after today, everyone is going to start stacking their daisy spacers. I think that's like even though this class is all about cubes, that's like the special trick that we all learned today.
Oh, I love that. That makes me happy.
It turns it into this like dotted barrel bead. It's just a whole different bead. I'm so happy.
No, you're right. It does do that. It makes a little barrel bead. That's perfect. And sometimes people don't know what to do with the spacer. I mean, I used to use them as daisy spacers. And a colorful daisy spacer, you can't go wrong with that. That's beautiful. So
yeah. I mean, usually, yeah, you're just putting them between your larger beads, but now you're actually showing them off. It's so cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So there's my first one. And I'm just going to get a crimp really quick. And so what you'll want to do first is bring your ends of your beading wire together. And we're just going to work with them together for a minute. In your crimp bead and string on your crimp. And so I'm going to take a look at when I first did this, I didn't have anything to measure with. I just kind of eyeballed it. But now I've got one I want to match. So I'm just going to bring the crimp down and decide where do you want the crimp. And I'd like the crimp to be right about there. So I'm just going to hold that spot. And the cool thing is you can just center it at the end, right? I'd like one of those to be just a little shorter. Okay, there we go. I'm going to do one last little check. And don't be afraid to go slow with this part and play with it because you get one shot with crimping, There we go. Okay, that's going to work. All right, so I went ahead and made an effort to make one of them a little longer than the other. That's not essential. It just helps a little bit. So hold that one side and take this longer side and feed it back through your crimp. And when you do that, kind of pinch it in your fingers so everything holds its shape. And then just go ahead and pull this one till you get about a 4 millimeter loop. It can be a little more than that. Let's see. Let's match the loop size I did there. Yeah, so this is probably closer to a 5 millimeter loop. Maybe about like that. Double check it one more time if you're matching a first one and decide if it's close enough. I would like this to come down just a little more and that to go down. Here we go. All right. There we go. Okay. What do you think? Close enough, right? Okay.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
First one's always easier, so you don't worry about it.
You're not trying to match anything.
Yep. I'm just going to go ahead and crimp that. Nice little gentle crimp there. And I like to kind of hold this and get as close as I can to the crimp, but don't cut the crimp. And the same with this one on that side. All right, first part's done. And it looks pretty close to my former one. So let's do the same thing again now with the back beads. So I've been working from the center. But now, and once you have a design, you can always just string it. Let's get this one on. And if you're someone who does the magic crimper, that's even better. Go with that. I've yet to. So I figured out how to do it, but I'm not brave enough to do it live yet.
That's fair. I was definitely like into it for a while. I was using it all the time. Now just Sam has got me so used to using the Xuron crimpers, but I like both of them.
I love my Xurons too. Those are nice.
They're so good.
Also for wire working, I can't live without them.
Yeah.
So I'm just matching what I did before. So just taking a look at this one. Nice little pretty design there. I need to go for 11 O's here. So in a way, what I kind of did was I took a look at what I did on each bracelet and just did something similar for each of the little mini strands here.
Oh, okay. So each one really mimics pattern in the bracelets. That's cool.
Yeah. In fact, that one in the front is an identical version of it. Actually, I think this one is too, now that I think about it.
No, that's smart. I mean, it'll totally go together then.
And I can't recall if I did that on purpose or not. Or if I just really liked this look and just kept doing the same thing.
Exactly.
So even that, every step of the way, it's like, do I go further? Do I keep going?
I know. When do you stop?
Because I'm happy with it. Well, I've got exactly 2 of these left. How lucky is that?
Perfect. And we've got a couple little bonuses here at the end of class that are coming. So I heard someone else make this comment. They had a very similar idea to me. It was like, okay, I love this cube bracelet, but could this be a necklace? And so I took Danielle's, something very similar to Danielle's pattern, and I've started a necklace that I want to show everybody. So once we finish this earring, I'm going to show you the necklace I've made. And then Danielle is also going to share a sneak peek of her. Today was all about cubes. She's going to give a sneak peek of her design using square beads, which we'll be learning next Friday. So we have a few more sneak peeks to show you some more ideas at the end of this class. So more coming.
I'm like hurrying through these earrings because I want to see your necklace.
I know. I didn't even show Danielle before we started. I was like, I'm waiting. I want she gets to see it with all of you. So you'll be surprised.
I'm excited.
At first, I was just like, okay, I want to see if I can make Danielle's design, but just with different types of cubes. Like, let me pick out different stones. And see like just how does making this bracelet in different colors work. And I started like that and I was happy. I was loving it. But then I was like, what if I go a step further? Can I also make it a necklace? So yeah, that was the journey I went on.
That is so awesome. I cannot wait. Okay, I'm almost there.
No, you're fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm everyone. I'm so excited all the time. There we go. Okay, so this one it's the same thing that I did before. Just have to play with it for a minute and making sure I get the dimensions close-ish to each other. And that looks great right there. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to just hold that in place and feed one of these beading wires back through it. So we'll just pull this one down. There we go. A little more room there. Okay. Okay, perfect. All right. And just feeding that back through, just like we did before. Same thing. Give it a good loop. Almost got it. So there it is. So these layer one on top of the other. They will automatically center themselves. I just need to get an ear wire really quick. I've got one of these. Just any ear wire will work. You can just use anything that you like. And so you just want to make sure you put the front one on first, which actually doesn't matter. You can put them in whatever order you like.
Let's see them come together.
Ta-da!
Oh my gosh.
So super easy.
Those are so sweet.
In the right order. I did, right? Oh, good. For some reason, I was like, did I just do that? I could have.
Oh my God, those are so sweet. And they're so elegant.
It's a nice little set. I'm happy with this one.
Oh my gosh. They show off the Amazonite cubes so well. Those are, I mean, they just pop in those designs. I love it.
Thank you.
So sweet. Oh my gosh. What a cool class today. I love that we did, a little bit more of a beginner project, something that like everyone can feel good about. Because also this month, along with Square Off Month, we have our October design challenge. And so we have a prompt for almost every day of the month where folks can participate and design along all month long, share your designs in our Facebook group, Gem Chat, and you'll be entered for prizes. So you might have noticed that the prompt for today was a cube bracelet. So Danielle's project today is one way you could do that, but you can do it however you want. And you have all month to work on these prompts. So even though that is the prompt for today, you can totally like in 2 weeks, get your beads and make them then. So definitely, if you make this design, you've got to join the challenge because you could win some prizes. So let me show you, but let's go to the sneak peeks I was talking about. So let's see here.
Oh my gosh, look at that.
Here we go. Okay, so let me see, I can pull this up a little bit. So I have the start of a multi-strand necklace and matching earrings. And fully inspired by Danielle's design, just like small adjustments.
Love that. I love the stone in the center.
Thank you. So I started, like, the 2 key pieces in your design are the larger box facet cubes and then the mini ones. And so I chose a different color combo. I went for pink and green with the rhodonite and the malachite. So this is where I started. And then I still brought in some of the same accents that you had because I just love them a lot. I brought in that metallic nebula, 11 seed beads, these daisy spacers. So I started by just doing a similar pattern. I don't know if it's exactly the same or very similar, but that idea. And this was just going to be a bracelet. That's where I started. But then I was like, oh, what if I make it a multi-strand piece? So then I grabbed these fluorite beads where they're a trapezoid pendant, which I was like, okay, it's almost a rectangle. It gives a similar vibe. And so I thought that would be perfect as my centerpiece. So you can get these in a set of, 6 mixed pieces. So which is perfect for this, for earrings and that. You only need the 6 pieces. So yeah, so let me show you. I'll string on a little bit too. So my plan is to make this strand is just, is my simpler pattern. And then the lower one is going to have that focal. So what I did is an 11 seed bead hugging around the malachite. I love these in malachite. Oh, that's
so pretty.
So cool. With the 11 hugging it on the other side. And then I'll do my 3 daisy spacers. My new favorite thing.
Those colors belong together. That is so perfect.
Oh, yay. Now I get the challenge of stringing on camera.
They're a little tricky, but they're so worth it, right?
Oh,
Once
yeah.
they're done, they look so cool. And I like when they spin and lock next to each other.
Yes.
It just makes me happy.
Okay. And then, so yeah, basically between the larger beads, I just kept repeating my pattern of 1 11 seed bead, 1 mini cube, and 1 11 seed bead. So those 3 beads are the small ones between my larger ones. And so now, in this case, my larger one will be another box facet cube in the rhodonite. And then we'll pause there. But that's going to be my top strand. And then my bottom strand has that fluorite piece in the middle.
Wow,
Yeah.
look at that. That is glamorous.
Yeah. Thank you. So yeah, if you wanted to transform this bracelet into a necklace, this is at least the start of an idea for how you might do that. Okay. Well, that's my little secret for today. You also have a sneak peek about for our class next week. Would you show us?
Yeah. Do you want me to show the beads first or just go right to the design?
You could show the beads. Yeah. At least show those squares because they're very unique.
I had never seen this before. So this was a brand new to me. I'm like in my life, never seen this.
Yeah. Wow. We actually surprised Danielle.
I was really surprised. Don't want to lose any of them. They are Are these carnelian?
Yeah, those are carnelian squares, and we call them a carved rim square. That's our official name.
Can you see the possibilities with this? I mean,
right?
I haven't scratched the surface. I did one thing with them so far, and I know that there's a dozen other ideas where that came from. Because, I mean, even without going into the bead weaving possibilities, think wire, think beading wire, the way that this will kind of snuggle anything next to it.
Yeah.
That is so cool. Yeah, I love these. These are awesome. So the first thing I thought was, well, yeah, it needs to have something running along the side for sure.
Yeah.
And so first I just tried wire because wire itself looked amazing. And then I tried adding some beads.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, you got to hold that close. I want everyone to see the detail of these.
And it was just my first attempt, but I feel like you can see where this is going. You can see where a necklace could happen with just one, the bottom embellished and just wire along the top.
So cool. Yeah. So get ready, guys. This is going to be our class next Friday, is going to be using wire work with these carved rim squares. So that is going to be fabulous. So Danielle will be playing and around with these some more this week, and will show us what she comes up with, all of it, next Friday. Wonderful. Cool. Okay, I guess that's everything. We've done a lot today.
I see a comment from Cindy. She's saying surrounding them with seed beads. Oh yes.
Yeah, that has to come too. There's so many options.
Yeah.
This is wonderful. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. Please check out some of the links in the description so that you can be a part of Square Off Month and get creative with cubes and squares all month long with us in October. We're just getting started with the inspiration. There's lots more to come. And thank you, Danielle, for sharing your creativity with us. It means so much.
Thank you for inspiring it. I had so much fun.
Oh, wonderful. Well, everyone, have a fabulous weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye.